Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And this is a relaxing, goal setting, intention setting, or prayer for you to help clear literally everything and anything that could be pulling you down into lower, negative, or unwanted energies right now. So for some of you guys, you might really not be open to prayer. Perhaps that's just not your style, or maybe it's a little triggering for you because of maybe having a background with a toxic religion, or maybe you just don't really believe in God and you don't want to really pray to anyone or anything, and that is completely fine. My intention here is that even if you don't really believe in prayer or that's not your thing, then you can see this more as a goal setting or intention setting session for you. I truly believe that word is bond. Your thoughts and the words that come out of your mouth are so incredibly important in shaping your reality. So you can see this as an affirmation session as well. For those of you guys who really do like prayer and do like to pray to a higher entity or a deity or to the universe or to your higher self or whatever, I'm going to make space for that as well for you here in this session. So however you view it, the intention of this relaxing chanting session or meditation or affirmation or goal setting session is for you to be able to just leave this finding clarity and peace and balance. Sometimes it's just really important to just state out loud or in your head or to yourself that like you're just letting go of anything that's toxic and you're embracing the positive energy around you. So wherever you are, I would like you to relax your shoulders, unclench the muscles in your jaw, take some deep breaths, make sure that your back or your spine is nice and straight, either by sitting up tall or lying down. And you're just going to take deep breaths and allow this message to heal you. You can say the words along with me, or in your mind, you can just set that intention that you're agreeing, or you can say yes out loud or in your head, or and so it is after every phrase that really resonates with you. There really is no right or wrong way to do this. And I would love to hear your comments after about how you felt after receiving this healing session, and definitely let me know if you would like me to make more videos like this. So we're going to get started. Dear God, higher self, Holy Spirit, and ancestors, and or your specific deity or deities, please clear, shield, and protect us from all lower negative and unwanted energies and entities and anything that isn't of love and light. Ground us to the earth so that we can be here in the present moment, to be able to experience all the joy and all the bliss that truly is on offer for us right here, right now. Cut the cords, cut the webs, and cut the tangles and debris of anything around us, in us, or near us that is holding us back in feelings of shame, anger, frustration, sadness, anxiety, or depression. Please remove all feelings that we're not good enough, or we're not worthy, or that we're not gonna make it. Please help remove any thoughts of jealousy or discontentment or apathy or ignorance. Please help further remove any toxic relationships, toxic habits, toxic addictions from us, and instead replace us with feelings and energies and situations that are full of love, happiness, joy, peace, renewal, kindness, confidence, self-love, and faith. Please help us to find the joy and the peace in every single moment. As we move forward, help us to remember that it's not about perfection. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being super productive. It's just about being here now, and being the witness. We are enough. I am enough. This moment is enough. Help us not to linger too much in the past or too much in the future. Help us to be logical and to be able to think things through clearly, step by step, and to be able to take calculated risks in our life and to be able to embrace change. Help us to be intuitive and to be able to listen to our gut feelings, our clairvoyance, or perhaps our claircognizance or our clairaudience. Help us to connect with our higher self and that part of ourself that is that inner voice. Help us to remember that as we develop a better, more loving and caring and trusting relationship with ourselves, we then have the ability to develop more caring and trusting, positive relationships with others. If there is anyone around us that is causing us to feel less than, or causing us to feel unloved or unwanted, or is bullying us or shaming us or projecting lower energies onto us, help us to remember that that has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. As within, so without. So whatever this person or these people are saying or doing to us or saying about us or whatever happening behind our back, help us to remember that that reflects on them. We do not have to believe the other thoughts and opinions of people. It only matters what we think about ourselves. And when the way that we see and we think about ourselves changes, the way that other people will respond to us will change. However, help us to remember that sometimes there just are those people out there because of lack of self-love or something that happened in the past or trauma or just, mental illness or perhaps just bad intentions. There are going to be those people sometimes that just come at us and are just putting those bad vibes. Help us to remember that we have the power to protect ourselves with healthy boundaries. Help us to remember that it's okay to say no. Help us to remember that it's okay to remove ourselves from toxic people and toxic situations. Help us to remember that it's okay to block somebody or to delete those messages or to not answer that phone call no matter who it is. So give us the strength to be able to recognize these types of relationships and energies and to be able to say no to that and to be able to gracefully move forward and away from that into healthy relationships. Guide us into connecting with the right people. Help us to remember that nobody's perfect and sometimes, there might be conflict in relationships and that's natural, but help us to recognize the difference between that and somebody who really has ill intentions or somebody who's draining us or somebody who might be perceived as perhaps an energy vampire of sorts. So help us to connect with people that are uplifting and positive because we become like the people we surround ourselves with. So we want to be around the kind of people that are really best for us and are going to lift us up with love and light. People we can be in the moment with and have fun and really be our true self around. And as we move forward, help us to really connect with our truth and our true self. Help us to connect with our desires and not to be ashamed of the things that we want in life, whether it's something emotional we want or something spiritual we want, or even something material that we want. There are some schools of thoughts that say desires are the root of all suffering. So if you're one of those people who thinks that, that's fine. However, another way to think of it, if this resonates with you, is that desires can be the compass that push you in the direction of your mission and life purpose. So help us to connect in a healthy way and in a somewhat non-attached way to our desires, to where we can be able to tap into this side of ourselves and be able to use it to motivate us to move forward. Help us to be able to set clear goals and to be able to take clear, concise baby steps towards our goals. Help us to remember that it's okay to just be, but that setting goals and cultivating our talents and gifts can help us to live a more enriching life. Help us to be able to feel like we're really on that path of creating the lifestyle that we would like to have, but also help us to be thankful for the things that we do have now and to feel blessed and to acknowledge the accomplishments we've had and how far we have already come. Please cut any cords and sever any vows of poverty that we have, and any feelings of lack mentality, and any feelings that it's not enough, or we don't have enough, or that because we were born poor, we're always going to be poor, because I'm from this background or from this culture, or come from this place, I'm going to be poor. Help us to remember that we are wealthy, that abundance is our birthright, and that we do create our reality through our thoughts, our feelings, our perceptions, and our actions. Help us also to remember that it's okay to have emotions. Help us not to spiritually or emotionally bypass our emotions. If we feel sad or angry or frustrated or however we feel, help us to acknowledge those feelings and to be able to process them and express them in healthy ways. Help us to find people who will listen to us. Help us to be able to perhaps maybe write down our feelings and to feel safe to do that. Help us to be able to acknowledge our feelings, to be able to listen to them, but also help us not to ruminate on anything that's just pulling us down continuously into bad vibrations. Help us to know that we can still manifest our dreams and the things that we want and achieve things in life, even if we are going through a depression, even if we are sad, or even if there is some type of trauma that we're working on. Help us to know that our differences are what makes us beautiful. Help us to look in the mirror and to see beauty, no matter what shape or what size we are, or what color our skin is, or whatever things we got going on with our body or our face or our hair or whatever, regardless of any illness we might have or disease we might have or mobility issue we might have, regardless of what our age is. Help us to look in the mirror and see that true, unique beauty that we are. And when we look at others, help us not to covet or feel jealous of the way they look or the way that they are, the things that they have. Help us to just be able to appreciate the beauty in ourselves so that we can look and appreciate the beauty in everyone, the uniqueness in everyone. Help any thoughts of racism or maybe gender disagreements about anybody, or anybody who's LGBTQ or anything like that, anybody who help us not to judge people like that. Help us to be open to that. Help us to be loving and not discriminate against anyone for any of their background or their religion or their creed or their sex or their gender or their sexual orientation. Help us to know that we are all a color of the rainbow. Everyone is a different color of the rainbow, and we all come together to make this beautiful colors and this beautiful rainbow. And everyone is different, everyone is unique, and that we can appreciate everyone and and just not have those feelings or those thoughts that sometimes pop in our head. Sometimes we might not be able to control it. Maybe it's social conditioning, maybe it's how you were raised, maybe it's your background, or maybe sometimes you randomly find yourself judging someone or being afraid of someone because they're different. Help that to just melt away and help us to not judge and to just be really accepting of everyone. And because when we accept everyone, it's easier for us to accept ourselves. When we accept ourselves, it's easy for us to accept everyone. So let's go ahead and clear contracts now and imagine ourselves cutting cords from past lives, any romantic relationships from a past life that we're really not supposed to be moving forward with in this life. Maybe old soulmates, old vows of wedding, any vows of celibacy, any vows of poverty from past lives. Let's just imagine ourselves cutting those cords right now and lifting any old agreements or contracts from this life or any past lives that could be holding us back from being our true selves right here, right now. Just letting go of all of that. And as we continue to take these deep breaths, we ask finally that we are able to see through the lens of love and gratitude, so that when we look around, we see love, we see joy, we see peace. Anything that's frustrating about our surroundings right now, perhaps the place you live, if there's a leak in the roof, or if there's a bug problem, or if there's annoying neighbors, or if you're frustrated when you go to the grocery store because it's too packed and there's too many people, or the traffic that you are in on the way to work every day, or anything you feel like, any need you feel like isn't met yet, anything you're worried about, we're releasing that now and knowing that everything will come to you at the exact right time it's meant to be. Sometimes not a moment later, not a moment sooner. Sometimes what we need comes right on time. Help us to have faith that we'll be provided for. Help us to have faith that we'll be able to get into a better situation or be able to get that better job or to be able to finish the education or get the right education. Help us not to be afraid of growing, changing, aging, moving forward. And most of all, help us to just feel present. Help us to remember that our presence is enough. My presence is enough. Help us to remember it's okay to just rest sometimes. Sometimes it's time to hustle and move and go. And sometimes it's time to rest, relax, and reflect. Help us to strike a healthy balance between this. Help us to be able to meet our physical, emotional, and mental needs. Help us to have cravings only for healthy foods and healthy activities. Thank you. Amen. And so it is.